All right. I think we'll get started. So first to start us off, I'm just going to walk us through an agenda here. We're going to talk a little bit about the annual convening. We're going to talk about what this meeting really is about and the purpose of data reporting. I'm also going to introduce you to our data team. And really, the key point of this conversation is to walk all of you through the data reporting form for cycle 2, give you all the opportunity to ask any questions, and also provide you with resources such as office hours that we will be scheduling in the next few weeks. Also to walk you through the deadline for completing the data reporting form and next steps. So to start us off, John is going to talk to us about the annual convening.
Thank you, Priscilla, and I will be brief. I want to express my appreciation for everyone on the call. I really appreciate the work that you put into putting together the application, preparing, and now either working in your pathway or preparing to work in your pathway. This data collection becomes very important for us to be able to tell the story of what our collaborative is doing out in the world. It's very exciting to when we can get together across 6 counties through Zoom, but it's even better when we get to sit across the table with each other, break bread, and talk about some of these issues. And on August 7th, we will be convening at Cuesta College in San Luis Obispo for our annual convening. This is the one time a year that the entire collaborative works to get together. Uh, at this year's convening, we're going to be hearing from students. We're going to be hearing from some of our industry partners. We're going to be debuting a new set of student journey maps. And we are going to be working with WestEd about reflecting on where we've been over the last year and where we want to go in the next year. Um, on this screen right now is a QR code. And if you use your phone and can scan that QR code, you can go directly and register for the convening. I want to encourage you to do that. Take a moment and get it on your phone or some other tablet or device. There's also a URL that you could use and write down to use later. But this is an excellent opportunity to get that thing that you wanted to do because you want to meet your colleagues and partners in San Luis Obispo for a nice half-day retreat at a beautiful location in August, on August 7th, from 10 a.m. to 1:30. So you'll also be getting some emails from us about this. Maybe some of you will even get calls from us about this. But if you sign up, we won't bother you at all. So I'm going to turn it back over to Priscilla. I really appreciate the work and leadership that she's shown on our data collection, and I look forward to today's workshop. Thank you, Priscilla.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, if you are looking for the link that's also in the chat to sign up for the annual convening. So I look forward to seeing you all there as well. And I just wanted to highlight and center us on really the importance of data reporting. I know John mentioned this a bit, but it really is our opportunity to evaluate the effectiveness of our work. It helps us reflect on the data in order to facilitate improvement of implementation and really reflect on how we are performing. Also, this is really important. It helps us report to the state on project outcomes. So that is really key on really being able to demonstrate the effectiveness of our work. And nice to meet all of you. My name is Priscilla Fernandez, so I am part of the research team. My email is there. We also have Dr. Lisa Shavak, who is our assistant director for the Research and Center of Excellence at Carrillo College. So she is also working in collaboration with me. So we are here to answer any questions about what we go through today, and just as you're filling out um, all of your data reporting forms. Okay, so to jump right in, this is really going to be a step-by-step guide of what the data reporting template looks like, and some key dates to keep in mind. So if some of you were involved in our data collection process last time. We completed this doing a survey. And so we took some of your feedback into consideration. And as I walk you through all of this, we really strongly encourage feedback and any additional thoughts about just the process of data collection and how you're reporting on these outcomes. But now, this time around, we really wanted to facilitate the process as much as possible and streamline this process. And so we are doing this through a Google form. So you will get a personalized Google form that will ask you specific questions that are based on what institution type you currently work for. So this is what the initial introduction looks like. And here you see a key date. So please complete this by July 23rd at 5 p.m. So that is when your data form will be due. So here, this is the different sections that are for our community college institutions. And another key section here to keep in mind and that I want to point out is that there's a survey is completed box at the end of this. Now, this box is really important because this is what tells us that you are done with your survey. So it triggers something on our end where we're able to see and keep track of everyone who has completed their survey. So it's really important that all of you are able to just check that box and let us know. And as you can see, each of these Google Forms will have different tabs that will outline different questions that we'll be going through today. So these are the sections for our community college institutions. So we'll be asking about pathway aligned courses, enrollment and pass rates for those courses, and we'll talk a bit about that. Dual enrollment, and then focusing on student outcomes, work-based learning, and then we also have these really important open-ended responses that we're hoping to get from all of you at the end. And these are for our four-year institutions. So all of them are pretty much similar except for some of those student outcomes. Okay, so the first section is really asking about just were you funded in cycle one? Quite a number of you were. So just indicating that whether you were funded for which pathway. And then also another question I want to point out here is for which pathway were you funded for cycle two? So some of you were one or the other, engineering and computing or health, but some of you were also both. So if you were funded for both pathways, we are expecting that you will also report outcomes for both pathways. However, as you'll see throughout the data reporting template, if you were only funded for one pathway, then you're only reporting outcomes for that one pathway. And so this first section is really focusing on how we define the pathway and what we're wanting to ask all of you. And so these are all pathway aligned codes. So these should only focus on the codes that were part of the pathway funded by the collaborative in cycle two. So here, for example, for our community college institutions, that means that you would select the top codes that you use to define the pathway at your institution. So you would select all that apply. And one thing I also want to point out is that this list is not comprehensive. So there is a place at the bottom, you could see there, where you can add any additional top codes that are part of the pathway for you, for your institution. Now, there were some institutions that participated in cycle one. And so we included whatever options were selected from those institutions lower on the page. So as you can see, this is an example for, this is the courses that were selected in cycle one reporting for an institution. and then also the majors they selected. So just to refresh your memory. Um, and then can we select both? Yes, so you're able to select as many top codes as you use to define your pathway. And so it looks the same for engineering and computing. There is a list of top codes for four-year institutions. It's a list of zip codes. Did that answer your question, Ebony? You could select both.
Yeah, I think what I was confused by when you said cycle one and cycle two, and then if you're funded for both, it just didn't look like you could click both. So I'll understand it when I get in there.
Yes, so this is for cycle two, what you're selecting, and I just included whatever it is that you selected in cycle one so you could see.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you selected your pathway aligned courses. So now you're going to add how many students were enrolled in those courses and pass rate for those courses. So students that received a C or better. So you're only focusing on courses that you specified in the first section. So remember, these are courses that you're using to define the pathway. This is what it looks like. And so here for each section, at the very top, there are instructions that are there to help you really understand what it is that we're looking for, how to fill out the form. You could see here for each outcome, please report data for 2023, 2024, and 2024, 2025. There's also a space where we ask for projections. So really these are targets for 2025, 2026. So here, this is an estimate and your best estimate is great. And also just want to point out that as you're completing this form, you're providing raw numbers, not percentages. Also note, throughout the form, we specify where you will select, where you will provide unduplicated and duplicated responses. Here we also provide some sources, Datamart and Data Vista, but in most cases, you'll be relying on your local research offices for this. So just specifying where you obtained your data. So you're providing general numbers, but you're also breaking it down by demographics. So we have race, ethnicity, as well as gender and economically disadvantaged. And we also provide a definition. Now we also provide a space where you're able to elaborate on the data that you provided, really give us a little bit more context. If you had difficulty getting this data, or if, for example, you weren't able to disaggregate it by in a certain way, all of those types of details just to help us understand your data a little bit better. And then sending the form, we will actually be sending it after this session. So either later today or early tomorrow. So you will be receiving your forms at ASAP. So specifying also duplicated here, just want to point this out. If it looks the same as earlier, I just want to make sure that that is clear. So for community colleges specifically, here we're also asking about dual enrollment. So the number of dual enrollment courses that are available per pathway. If you did not offer any dual enrollment courses for any of these two pathways, you would just select that check mark at the very top and skip this entire section. But this is just asking about aggregate numbers across these courses. Again, we're asking you to specify whether it's unduplicated and duplicated. So we do specify that in these sections. And again, focusing on 2023, 2024, and 2024, 2025. And then also just providing targets for next academic year. And again, I want to point out here too, as I'm breaking all of this down, you see there's the health pathway on the left side, the engineering pathway on the right. So you're only providing data for the pathways for which you were funded. So this is for our four-year institutions specifically. We are asking about students that earned a degree, this is for community colleges, students that earned a degree, students that transferred to a four-year. So here I'm just providing an example, but you could see that some of the 2023, 2024 data is filled out. So for some of our cycle 1 participants, you provided this data in cycle 1, so it's pre-filled out for you based on what you provided us in the last reporting cycle, so you don't have to redo that again. So it's in there so you could see it as a point for comparison. Now, if there is a change, or maybe you said, oh, I think actually this was incorrect, or something like that, just make sure to let us know in the comments that you changed any of the 2023, 2024 data, so that we're aware and keeping track of any changes. Yes, exactly. Each institution gets their own form. So you would only, for example, if you were funded for both engineering and computing and health, the form is set up exactly as you're seeing on the screen. So there's a space for you to fill out data for both of those pathways. So it's only one form that you're filling out. So these are just some of the metrics for our four-year institutions. We also asked about being enrolled in pathway aligned majors. So again, these should be only focused on majors that were considered part of the pathway. And as you're providing data in this section, you're just focusing on that. So the average number of units earned towards degree by students in those pathway aligned majors. In terms of retention and completion, it's students who enrolled in a pathway and stayed enrolled in that pathway the next academic year. And then students who completed a pathway segment and earned a degree in a pathway aligned major or discipline. So these definitions are in the sheet, so you can understand what each of these different metrics are trying to measure. So in terms of work-based learning, if you did not offer any work-based learning for either pathway, you would just select it at the top and skip this tab. But here we defined different types of work-based learning opportunities. You're also selecting what types of opportunities you offered. Again, focusing specifically in cycle 2. You're also providing the number of pathway work-based learning opportunities available to students. You're providing the total number of employers you partnered and collaborated with during cycle 2. And then just providing additional details about these work-based learning opportunities. So for example, if you selected internships, just really specifying what those internships were about, providing a little bit more context so we understand what those opportunities look like across all of the respondents. And the last section I want to point out is also the open-ended responses. So here you are we're just asking about the number of meetings held by the collaborative partners in this reporting period specifically. Also, if you have a plan for how you will distribute and use your grant by June 2026, just providing us details, letting us know if you anticipate any changes. Also, just what specific activities or interventions you implemented during this reporting period. And some of the other open-ended questions really focus on your major accomplishments. So here, we really want to understand what it is that you've done during this reporting period. Please be as detailed as possible. There's space in the Google form. We left a decent amount of space, but it's not a limit. There's no character limit. So as much as you can report, we really appreciate having just context and understanding all the great work that you all have been doing. And we also want to understand any lessons learned. So any challenges, any concerns that you've had thus far that you want to share with us so that we can also understand and get a sense of that. And let's see this question. Does the work-based learning opportunity related need to have been funded? So yeah, we really want to focus on what has been funded by the collaborative. Yeah, thank you for that clarification question. So the deadline is Wednesday, July 23rd at 5 p.m. And just some tips for completing the form, just making sure that you're really planning ahead and setting time aside to schedule putting the form together. One of the things that we really wanted to streamline and make a little bit easier for individuals is to be able to get support in filling out the form. So that's why we created these personalized Google Sheets. So you are able to share them with an internal team who can help you fill it out. But also just being mindful at your institutions of summer schedules, research offices that may have different demands or schedules going into the summer. But we are here to support all of you. So definitely let us know if you have any questions as you're filling out the form and if there's any way that we can support all of you. We're also hosting office hours. So if you want to just go through your form, have very specific questions, we are happy to answer those for you. So these will be the office hours over the next few weeks prior to the deadline. So we will be providing an email with the Zoom link, but I just provided it there. But yes, please come to any or all office hours if you need support. We are happy to help. And yeah, I want to leave some time for answering questions. Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Hi,
Hi.
Luis Cabral at CSUMB. So I think I have some forms for engineering and there is also for nursing. Can we fill separate forms or we have to fill them together?
So the two separate pathways?
Yes.
So there are in the Google form, there are spaces where you would fill it out for each of the pathways.
Okay.
Yes. So you only have to fill out one form.
And have you sent the link for the form or not yet?
Not yet. So we're
Okay.
hosting the training sessions first, and then we will be sending the forms either later today or early tomorrow so that all of you can start working on those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Priscilla, you may want to take down the slide so you can see if anybody's raising their hands or.
That is true. There we go. I am not the lead student data person for Cabrillo, but I'm here to support the K-16 data team. Does that answer your question, Heidi?
Yes. Do you have a name of the Cabrillo person that I can reach out to?
I do not, but I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yeah, any other questions?
Oh, did you say you'll be sending us an email with all the office hours?
Yes. So in the email where you get your personalized form, we'll also list the office hours and how to log in, as well as the due date. And yeah, definitely encourage all of you to attend.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
Quick question is, to whom are you going to be sending the forms?
John,
To the contact person on the account, or to the main, yeah.
We'll be sending them to the listed PI for each application.
Perfect.
That'd be you, Elizabeth.
I was hoping.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. So the way that this is situated is you guys, we had a lead for each of our partners. And so each of you, we have contacts for each of you. So each of you will get one for your own campus to fill out. Because we need to
Perfect.
do campus specific data and there's no way I would know what you need. I was laughing. I was like, I don't remember the SIP codes and top codes. I gotta go back to our application. I was like, I don't remember.
yes. So that is why I included them in your form. So you will see.
Oh, we don't have to find them?
Yes, I included them in the form
You're
at the very
amazing.
end.
Thank
Yes,
you.
because I knew people might forget.
We are trying to make this, we want to support you. We're not trying to get you with this.
No, I appreciate it, but you have to
Help you
understand I
out.
had to learn new language. I was like, SIP codes? They were like, that doesn't have anything to do with you. That has to do with them. I was like, okay, good. You know, so it's
Yeah.
been educational too, John.
Heidi, you had a question.
Yes, on the form that you showed us in the very beginning,
Mhm.
there was a lot of different pathways. Like, for example, it said kinesiology, medical assisting, dental hygiene, nursing.
Yes.
Um, okay, so I'm confused because I oversee all of those programs at Cabrillo, but we only received funding to work on the nursing and community health worker, health science pathways. So
Yes.
should I be marking all of those or just the ones I got funded for?
So that is a really great question, and thank you for clarifying. So you are only selecting the one that you got funded for. So if it was only nursing, then that's the only one you select.
Okay.
So the reason that we have just the different sets of codes in the forms is because different institutions selected different programs. So it was just a way to offer specific or different ones, but you're just selecting the ones that are specific to your pathway at your institution.
Okay, thank you so much. That's very helpful.
Yeah, of course. And I know, yes, so there is the institution or the top codes you selected last time on there.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? And yes, for those who already completed cycle one, like I said, you're a little bit ahead of the game. You've got some of the data filled out based on what you filled out in cycle one. So
Oh, is there a way we can revisit the data we already sent you for cycle one?
yes, so it'll be pre-populated in your form.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's easy.
Yeah. So if there are any changes, just let us know in the form. You'll see it in the instructions, but it'll be pre-populated.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, any
Well,
other
we'll do
questions?
one final pass here for questions. We've tried to make this as direct and easy as possible. We've road tested this with cycle one, and it generally worked pretty well. And so we're hoping it'll work well. And we just suggest that the sooner you start it, the easier it'll be to finish. I guarantee. If you wait till the end, there will be some kind of problem. So that's the way the law of re data reporting works. So Heidi.
Yes, my last question, my biggest question mark in my mind right now is where do I get the data? And I'm wondering, is that the data dashboards at Cabrillo College or the dean who oversees institutional effectiveness?
It'll typically be your IR office, so your institutional research office. They will be the ones that have, especially 2024, 2025 that just ended, they're going to be your primary resource for that data.
Okay, thank you.
Well, all right. I want to thank Priscilla and her team for the work they've done to prepare for this data collection moment. We only do it twice a year, and the data becomes a very important way for us to be able to tell the story of the work that you're doing, the work that the collaborative are doing, and the difference we can make in the lives of students along the Central Coast. So we look forward to supporting you. Take advantage of the office hours. Call the data team, call Ashley or Isaac, call me. We want to help you. So we'll do everything we can to make sure you can get this done on time if you work with us. So really appreciate everyone being here today. And you don't, if you've signed up for tomorrow's workshop, you don't have to go because you only need to go to one of these. So thank you very much. We really appreciate all of you.
Thank you.